Warning: the following video is a part of an ongoing episode-by-episode critique of the DCAU. As a result, there will be massive spoilers for not just the season/movie in question, but for any other season or movie in the DCAU. More importantly, this review will build off of previously established ideas from other videos, assuming that you've already seen and are familiar with them already as to not bog down the pace. With all that in mind, enjoy the video.
Hello folks, welcome back to the DC Animated Universe retrospective, and right after covering the explosive 13-episode debut of Batman Beyond, we're here to discuss the 26 episodes of Batman Beyond Season 2. That's right, the team's hard work paid off as Batman Beyond was a hit.
Which means that everybody apparently was happy with the first 13.
It was an immediate hit, and a lot of people who had been skeptical about the show were surprised by how good the show was.
I'm glad to hear that because I thought the last season was freaking fantastic. This is just quality work. It gets recognized. Nobody had to continue using the BTAS Freeze backstory and incarnations after the show was done. People did it because the guy with the tragic backstory and the wife is a lot more interesting than the crook with the ice gun. Terry Mcginnis and his world and his growing connection with Bruce Wayne was just a great show worth tuning into. Now I can't wait to see where they take it because again, this is all new lore. With Joker and BTAS or Metallo and STAS, there are certain fundamental characteristics with these villains you have to adhere to. But in this season, they created Shriek. You can do whatever you want with him, and nobody can go on the forums and go, "Oh wow, this was not in the comics. I am not a fan, Mr. Bruce Timm." For that reason, I am hyped. This season aimed to focus more on Terry's role as a high school student, telling stories related to that world as it's a sandbox of ideas you couldn't make Batman, Superman, and Justice League stories out of. However, I went into this video with pretty low expectations. Around the time I was doing the Batwoman review, I was watching some Beyond episodes to pass the time while doing, can't put enough quotation marks around it, homework. And I noticed some common flaws in the Batman Beyond Season 2 episodes I was watching. This led me to believe that a large chunk of the season suffered from this, and I've dropped hints stating as much.
What's really important to mention when starting Justice League is that the show adopts a new formula for the episodes that I think is a net positive. In my review of Superman Season 2, and from what I've seen from Batman Beyond Season 2, is that many episodes suffer from having great plot lines and moments, but being held back by the 22-minute time limit for the story, leading to a rushed ending.
This is to the point where I was actually planning on this not being an every episode reviewed video, but I can't do that to you guys. However, this season is really long, 26 individual episodes, not like Justice League Seasons 1 and 2 where there were 26 episodes, yes, but there were 12 and 13 individual stories respectively. We haven't seen a season this long since TNBA. The overall longest season is still Batman Volume 3 with 29 episodes, which honestly makes me wonder how that video is so much shorter than these new ones, but still, in the interest of time, since I'm not looking to make a 3-hour video about Batman Beyond Season 2, hey guys, I've got things to do. Things I didn't when I was 17 making BTAS videos. Justice League Season 2 was worth it because it meant so much to me, but that's enough of me explaining myself. I'm going to try and make this review like a throwback to Batman Volume 2 or Batman Volume 3. Cover every episode, say everything I want to say, but not to the usual scene-by-scene degree. Back to my expectations, I already preemptively placed this season at the bottom of C tier because of my old experience with it, but I must say at the top of the hour, I apologize for all the offhanded remarks about you Beyond Season 2. This season was really fun. I do have some gripes with it, but if I didn't have gripes with STAS Volume 3 or Batman Volume 4, then they'd be an S tier now, wouldn't they? But I don't want to show my cards too early. That's all I've really got for introductions. Let's continue watching Bruce and Terry save Neo Gotham one case at a time, starting in Episode 1, Splicers. The new hot thing in Hamilton Hill High is the medical practice called splicing. What's that? This is the form of body transformation that turns people from regular humans to half man, half animal things. You can choose to be half snake or half feline, whatever you wish. Similar to last season's The Winning Edge, this shows how the timeline has evolved over the decades. Bruce is of course skeptical of this because splicing is not new.
Perfectly creepy is more like it. Him and that whole splicing fad.
This is no simple fad. Something bad will come of this splicing. Something we'll most likely have to clean up.
This was created by Dr. March and Dr. Kirk Langstrom in BTAS's On Leather Wings, where Bruce faced off against the Man-Bat creature. He developed a cure for it that saved Langstrom at the end of the episode, but this research later found itself in the hands of Cadmus in Justice League Unlimited Season 2, but it died off there because Dr. Milo couldn't get it to work. Now, this Dr. Abel Cuvier has found out how to perfect it, and market it to children that want to stand out and rebel against this oppressive society.
How about not, Snake Boy?
Listen, Norm, don't even think about dissing us.
Go chew a can. Huh? So, will you petting zoo rejects be needing a doctor? or a vet.
Terry actively tries to shut it down, but gets his DNA mixed as well. A nice nod to BTAS being that Terry gets turned into a man-bat, but like I said, Bruce still has the cure. A sign of Terry's heroism is here when he gets spliced. My thought was that he was going to go straight to the Batcave, but no, Barbara Gordon's husband, DA Sam Young, is an outward legal opponent of splicing, and so Dr. Cuvier sends his minions after Gordon and Young, and Batman goes straight there to save them, even when he's transforming. That's a Batman move. Stick with your own pain in the interest of saving someone else. Terry really is cut out to be Batman. I wonder about that. I also love Terry's interaction with his family.
Mom, can I get spliced? I want to be a real Wolfman for Halloween. Rawr!
Sorry, Matthew. No son of mine's going in for some freaky body treatment.
Aw, come on, Mom. What about that little relic from your wild teen years?
Oh, Ter, please. That's different.
By the end of the episode, I thought it was kind of strange. I mean, the ending action scene's good as Batman and Ace the dog team up, but the scene was a little long as the episode just kind of ends here.
I'm okay now.
Listen to experience, kid. I appreciate what you've done tonight, but ditch the costume. You can't live a life of narrow escapes forever. It's a thankless existence, and the rewards are small, if any.
Well, sometimes the small rewards are the best ones.
We don't really get to see the resolution of this splicing epidemic. I guess we just kind of assume it's dealt with. But that's only one episode. Episode 2, Earthmover. I like the mystery that this episode starts out with, as Terry, Dana, and their friend Jackie are doing their homework, but Jackie's distracted by the feeling that someone's following her, and Terry steps up like usual.
Somebody's out there.
Hey!
Interesting? That's all you can say? It was unbelievable.
A word I rarely use.
It was unbelievable! A word I rarely use. I mean, legit, how many things has Bruce Wayne seen in his lifetime? I don't know if he'd be surprised by anything supernatural at this point. Anyway, Jackie's adopted, and The Rock seems to have a thing against her adopted father and wants her, leading to this scene in the Batcave.
This stuff can turn a person's DNA inside out. It's toxic industrial waste, probably buried several years ago. That's where Wallace fits in.
You're getting a little ahead of me.
Don't you read the news? It was only 10 years ago.
I was 7.
Oh, well. Back then, the DA accused Wallace of dumping this kind of chemical. Nothing was ever proved, though. What did you find out from your friend Jackie?
Not much. Only that Wallace isn't her real father.
Not her father. Now that's promising.
I can't.
Better tell her. Unless you want me to.
I was just starting the company. I didn't have much money. I couldn't afford to dispose of my excess chemicals the way I was supposed to. I found this abandoned mine shaft.
I don't know about this, Bill.
The shaft's totally sealed, no way for a bleed-through.
What if there's a quake?
Tony, listen to me. We may be cutting corners now, but someday, this company's gonna be very, very big. Don't you want a share of that?
You talking partnership?
I am. Think of Jackie. It didn't take us long to get most of the barrels into the shaft, but then there was a problem.
Lower. Lower. Come on. It's snagged.
Well, that's fucked. It's this episode's climax where I really start taking issues with the episode. It's a good episode since I'm intrigued by what the rock monster is, I like how Bruce just knows everything, and how Terry just rushes in to help people, but when the house starts sinking, Terry just stands there for a long period of time allowing Jackie and her adopted father to be captured underground. As the episode spends its remaining 7 minutes on action instead of character moments, the Earthmover is Jackie's father, of course. And he fights Batman tooth and nail to kill Bill and keep Jackie, but once they get away, the tunnel is sealed and oh, the Earthmover saves the day! For no reason. And then the episode lazily resolves the fact that Jackie won't acknowledge Bill as her father by tossing this line in right at the end.
My father.
He's not your father. Not really. He's a ghost.
Dad.
Wait, that's the ending? No scene of Bruce and Terry discussing what happened where Terry learns a lesson? Okay then, let's just end it there. Not a bad episode, a perfectly good watch, but the bizarre one-80 turn in the climax really dampens the quality here. Episode 3, Joyride. This episode was a complete snooze fest. Some government people are testing out a new vehicle, as we get this line that does not hold up well at all.
First thing they're gonna do when they get back to Gotham is tell all their buds the Martians are coming.
Yeah, Martians totally don't exist. And if they did, they certainly aren't a near-extinct race, right?
My family and loved ones are long gone. I am the last of my kind.
I know the feeling.
Now, Mars is dead, and I am alone in the universe.
Anyway, the Jokers are doing an initiation ritual with their new member in this cave. What the hell is that? A corpse with a purple jacket and an orange flower. That's pretty intense. I wonder what happened to the original Joker. That's all I gotta say. Anyway, the Jokers steal the military vehicle and proceed to spend the next 17 minutes terrorizing the streets with it. It goes to show how much more powerful military technology is than you'd think, as they completely obliterate the Batmobile as Terry gets aid from the craft's creator, who gets injured, leading to this.
You built some ship, lady.
You have to stop them.
You'll be okay?
In another few minutes, it won't matter. Now go!
Another perfect example of this ending's problem is that that's actually the last time we ever see her in this episode, like no resolution to that at all. Once Batman stops the nuclear reactor inside the vehicle, the Joker's member who loved it the most just does this. Seriously, watch this ending. What was that? I mean, maybe I would have shown the weapon being taken away, the Joker's going to jail, the creators swearing to improve the safety of her weapons, like something. I'm gonna put my cards on the table now and say that this is one of my biggest problems with Batman Beyond Season 2. It's an issue that hurts episodes 1, 2, 3, 6, 8, 10, and 14, which makes up a large percentage of episodes that I watched back in the day that clouded my view of Season 2. These episodes either are just really dull like Joyride, or are really great like episodes 8 and 14, where the story just feels really rushed in a lot of instances. If I were to make a comparison, Batman Beyond Season 2 reminds me a lot of Superman Season 2, only a lot better. To recap, the biggest problem I have with Superman Season 2 was the fact that a lot of the episodes were either really rushed, where they had the perfect build-up, i.e. Brave New Metropolis, Ghost of the Machine, and the late Mr. Kent, or were really padded and boring like Father's Day, The Hand of Fate, and Bizarro's World. WF really raises the bar for that season because it's such a great episode. Here in Beyond Season 2, we don't have those straight-up WTF episodes, nor episodes that really snooze through other than Joyride, but still, episodes feeling rushed is a common occurrence in this season. It's like if instead of ending at Wayne Manor with those beautiful final moments, Star-Crossed ended like this.
I hope you're pleased with yourself. It'll take years for us to rebuild elsewhere.
Then you'd better get started.
It's just that, unlike Superman Season 2, I find these stories really enjoyable in spite of that. Episode 4, Lost Soul. So a long time ago, a scientist by the name of Robert Vance had suffered from a fatal illness, so he had his brain transferred into a computer, where 35 years later, his grandson runs the company and releases the computerized version of Vance into the city. I knew the name Vance sounded familiar to me, and that's when it clicked. The Cadmus arc from Unlimited Season 2 really is something special.
How did you know Vance was the inside man? He was the only one on the tower whose mind I couldn't read. Cadmus must have supplied him with a sophisticated method of masking his thoughts.
This JLU staffer that aided Task Force X in their mission to steal the Annihilator armor was the son of the man who put his brain in the computer and the father of the grandson in this episode. Why'd they do that? They didn't have to, but the Cadmus arc was just paying special attention to the lore of the DC animated universe. I'm sure it will be quite a process to become a JLU staffer, and Vance's son obviously would have connections and qualifications to get a job, as this reporter establishes Robert Vance as one of the greatest minds of his day. Hats off, Cadmus arc. Hats off. With the AI Vance able to take control of technology, the Beyond suit is subject to that, as he tries to drown Terry with Bruce having to come save him, as the AI just takes control of the suit and busts out of the cave.
Look what the suit did to that wall. You think you can go up against that?
Sometimes I ask myself, is Batman just the suit, or is he the man inside? Time to find out.
Terry, better take this. It's got some things you might be able to use.
Thanks.
I'd give you one of my old costumes, but most of them are pretty torn up. You know, bullet holes, burns, gashes.
I know what you're trying to do, but it won't work. I'm still going.
Now that's cool, especially when he puts on the Nightwing mask. Badass moment. As for the characters though, it's really great to see Terry like this. Like I emphasized in a previous episode and last season, he wants to be a hero because Terry Mcginnis is a heroic person, not because this Batman suit gives him so much strength that he feels the need to beat up criminals. Something beyond Season 3 and the Return of the Joker movie will seal the deal on. Of course, Batman stops the suit and the Vance AI, saving the day. Episode 5, Hidden Agenda. Even though the show was a hit in the way WB wanted, they still wanted more youth appeal, and therefore they were mandated to create a character that Terry was friends with that he could confide in with his secret identity. Introducing Max Gibson, who cameoed in Splicers but makes her proper debut here. Much like the show itself, the execution of her character could have worked against the show, but of course, they made it work really well as Max is well played by Cree Summer and has good chemistry with Terry, Dana, Chelsea, and all the other Hamilton Hill High characters from Season 1. Really, she seamlessly fits into the main cast of characters.
What's your ID? The last prime number before my birth year.
She's incredibly smart, getting a perfect score on the GAT, which really upsets the other student, Carter Wilson, who got second place, which makes his mom angry.
How could you have done so poorly on the GATs?
I got an almost perfect score.
Almost doesn't get you ahead in life, dearest. Almost gets you almost.
Only one student got higher.
Well, that would make you the winning loser, wouldn't it? And if that's good enough for you, then I can see why my opinion doesn't mean much to you either.
I hate parents like that. It's an extreme, sure, but still that attitude of, oh, my child got the second highest score in the school, clearly not good enough, he is the winning loser. Like, fuck you. Parents like that do exist. I wish I could spit on the designer shoes of each and every one of them. Carter has another problem. He's a member of the Jokers and arranges for Max to be killed.
I have a little business to take care of tonight. After hours at Hill High.
Don't worry, we'll be there. Terminal.
Also, that's so obviously Michael Rosenbaum, who later played Flash in Justice League. I'm sorry, it's just, it doesn't take away from the episode, it's just that I've seen so much Justice League that it throws me off hearing these voices not coming from those characters. Terry obviously wants to put a stop to that, but Max is also trying to find out who this mysterious Batman is, as she has this computer program to help sift through information, as she believes it might actually be someone at the school. When the Jokers come for her life, she switches her search to whoever in the school might be living a double life to become a member of the Jokers and come after her, which leads her into believing that it's Terry.
They won't bother you anymore. I promise.
I guess you'd know.
What?
Terry, meet me at the Gotham Park water fountain at 8 tonight to talk, or I blow your secret wide open. That should get his attention.
We've been following you to finish off what we started.
Because of this?
Wrong again. I don't care about your data crunching. I have a more personal reason for wanting you gone. Who do you think's gonna come to help you?
Me. Run.
You called it.
Not what I meant.
Carter? Carter Wilson? I guess I'm not as good a programmer as I thought. Carter wasn't even on my list of possible Jokers. But you were.
Wait, you don't think...
I did. But now I know the truth. First thing I'm going to do is go cover my tracks so no one else can figure out. You know.
It's been taken care of.
By whom?
A friend. He's a real expert in covering tracks.
At least now you're not alone with your secret. You have someone to talk to. Someone who can help you out sometimes if you need it. Just one thing, McGinnis. You call me Robin, and I'm out of here.
No problem. Alfred.
Alfred?
That was a swell episode. Its main purpose was telling a story that introduces Max's character, what she's good at, what she could add to Terry's fight, and her learning his secret, setting up their partnership for later episodes. Even though at first I'm sure the team behind the show was unsure of what to do with the idea of giving Terry a friend that's in on his secret, they did it well like they always do and grew to love the character and using her more and more as the season goes on. Episode 6, Bloodsport. Speaking of Justice League voices, John Jones is in town.
Privacy.
In reality, if you want another Spider-Man parallel, this guy, the Stalker, is like Kraven the Hunter, here to hunt Batman as the only worthy prey, as he used to be a game hunter, but a fatal accident caused him to be medically enhanced to the point where no mere animal could challenge him anymore. Meanwhile, Bruce and Terry have really good banter, just watch.
Oh, and Terry, there was one other thing.
Yeah?
Your mother called. She wants you to pick up some milk on the way home.
Milk?
Terry's mom has to go out and leaves Terry in charge of his younger brother Matt, and the Stalker has an advanced tracking system which leads to an intense chase scene where Terry has to escape as Terry.
Your money or a pie? Some other time. That's not funny, man. You've got to help, officer. This nut with the spear's after me.
A spear, huh? Yeah, that's a new one. Can you describe him?
6'4", half naked, tattoos all over his body. You can't miss him.
Uh-huh. May I see your ID?
I'm not scamming. Check it out.
Wait here. Nothing.
Williams?
Leading to his brother being kidnapped.
You want to fight, Dreg? Let's go.
Cool.
Impressive.
I like the part where Terry is in a trap, but he uses his invisibility power to trick the Stalker for long enough to fry him and win the day. Good power uses like that always gets credit from me, as seen in the Superman and Justice League videos. He thinks the Stalker gets run over by a train, but he actually returns later in the season, so he's not dead. And everything's back to being good by the end.
Why? I don't know. But then Batman showed up and bam, wham, pow, he saved me. Batman's so cool. Not a loser like you.
Hey, we can't all be Batman.
I am loving this short episode review thing. Basic overview, here's what I liked, what I didn't, if anything, funny dialogue, good moments, here's the ending next episode. As I write this, I'm just picturing the editing going by in a flash. But now we have 2 episodes that are a bit more complicated. Episode 7, Once Burned. To start, these criminals are taking part in a card game called the Derby. I like how these criminals of 2040 have their own rituals, like who knows how this game got going. It's just a part of Neo-Gotham crime life, so big that it dates back to before Bruce's Batman time. And nobody'd be stupid enough to try and bust in. Except for 10 of the Royal Flush gang, who pleads to Batman that she has to steal from the Derby because the Jokers have the rest of her Royal Flush family held hostage.
10's not crazy. Desperate's more like it.
Sounds like simple greed to me.
No, she swore that it wasn't what it looked like. She meant it. I could tell.
To be young again. And gullible.
Batman wants to do a rescue without stealing, which leads to the conflict of the story.
Terry, today was beach day, remember? Where were you? Oh, just out saving the world, Ma.
Remember me?
Melanie. Or should I say 10?
If you hate me, I understand. What I did to you before, I didn't have a choice. It was between you and my family.
There's always a choice, Melanie.
I need a place to stay till it's dark. That's all I'm asking for.
Let me guess. Cops after you?
Among others, including Batman. But even he would never think of looking for me here.
No, I guess he wouldn't. But there are laws against harboring criminals, and
I'm not a criminal. So why don't you just let me go back to the card game? It'd be a lot safer than this.
Like I said before, no more stealing.
This is for a kid named Terry Mcginnis. If you come out of this okay, and I don't, will you give it to him? And you won't read it. Promise?
I promise.
Maybe you're not such a jerk after all.
You desperately want 10 to just do the right thing since Melanie and Terry have such good chemistry, much like how you wanted to see Catwoman go straight, but it just never happened because that wouldn't make for good drama. So she leaves Batman behind to fight all the Jokers as Bruce sends the Batmobile to save the day.
And if I told you what I was gonna do, you wouldn't have let me. You didn't trust her.
And rightfully so, it seems.
Okay, I was wrong. The only thing I did right was stick a tracer on her.
Live and learn, kid.
That's it? That's all you have to say to me?
For the moment. Now, why don't you see if you can locate her frequency?
10 was set up all along by her family to steal from the Derby to test her loyalty, which is plainly fucked up. Batman doesn't understand the full picture, but 10 leaves the Royal Flush family after this because why wouldn't you? This man used his daughter's love for him and the family to set her up to steal from the biggest gang competition in the city, potentially facing off against one of the most notorious street gangs out there. No excuse for that shit. Plenty of examples to come, but I think it's this season where the DCAU's action direction really took a step up. It's just really fast-paced and fun to watch, which is how I like my action direction. Batman sets up for the capture of the Royal Flush Gang, ending the episode with Terry tossing out the note that Melanie gave him to be resolved next season. The Royal Flush Gang continues to be a really interesting bunch, giving Terry critical lessons to learn about this line of work that the old Batman had to deal with even in his adult years. Combine that with some good action and comedic lines.
Ow! What was that for?
For saying I told you so.
But I didn't.
Well, you were gonna.
I think this was a good episode. Episode 8. Hooked Up. This is one of my absolute favorites. I said that it suffered from a rushed ending, which you'll see and probably be disappointed by too, but the story it tells is so interesting and relevant in a timeless way that I forgive it. We start at this rock concert as this kid is the talk of the town until this happens.
Huh? What? No! Ah!
Rise and shine, Donnie. Time to pay the piper.
Please, put me back in. It hurts out here, please!
Now. Love like that doesn't come cheap. You want more? You know what you have to do.
Yeah, the Spellbinder has returned with an even more despicable plot than before. Now he has this virtual reality machine that activates the pleasure center of the brain and projects into the victim's mind what their heart desires the most. Clearly this kid wants attention, and lots of it. When they run out of funds to pay for it, the Spellbinder shuts it off, leaving them hanging like a cold turkey. Meaning that most of these victims are going to have to turn to petty theft to get more credits to get more time in this dream machine. Bruce was right to call the Spellbinder deadly in season 1 because he has no regard for human life. Especially now that he doesn't have a reputation to uphold. To start an ongoing conflict for Max's character, she actually wants to help Terry in the field, but that won't be happening if Bruce and Terry have anything to say about it.
Why should you have all the fun?
Max, it's not fun.
What? Flying, intrigue, power? Yeah, you're right. It's a drag.
Here's where my problem with this episode's ending begins. When Batman catches up with the kid from the beginning, we waste a couple minutes on this action scene because kids need action and not die of boredom, I guess. But this takes screen time away from the story, which I'm against. Terry and Max go to that kid's house, and we don't get to see much of it. We see enough to know it's fucked up.
Who are you?
I'm Max, Donnie's friend. You remember me, don't you?
No. Donnie ain't here, so get out.
Wait! Have you seen Donnie? Did he want something from his room?
Quiet, Elaine, we don't care.
Don, please.
Get back in the kitchen.
That's honestly a sad part about it. I'm sure there are lots of people out there who knew someone like this in high school who clearly had a fucked up house life like that, but there's just nothing you can do about it, which is the situation Terry and Max were just in. At the arcade, Spellbinder sends people here to find new customers for his machine because too much time on it turns you into a vegetable and has people dispose of them.
On your feet. I'll put you back in once you run some errands. First, dump this mess across town. Then find me some new recruits.
Just, hate this guy.
Max.
Kip, haven't seen your face around.
It's been behind a pair of VR specs.
Here?
Not likely. There's this new VR. Gives you the realest real ever. It feels like love all over you.
Yeah? I think I got something. There's this new kind of VR. I made us an appointment.
Great. Except there's no us. It's just me from here on, remember?
Oh, come on, Terry.
I'm telling you, it's too dangerous. Dangerous? It's just VR. How could it be dangerous? Why don't you ask Donnie? Max doesn't need a chaperone, do you?
No. I guess not.
Then it's settled. Let's go. Max, I don't think this is a good idea.
I'll call you later, Terry. I will.
Max!
You don't know what you're missing, McGinnis.
Yeah. Spellbinder hooks us up real good. Spellbinder.
Hey!
We then cut to Max's house, which we haven't seen before.
Oh, you're home, Maxine. How was your particle physics test today?
Another 100.
That's our girl.
Fixed your cycle for you, sweetheart. You shouldn't hear that rattle anymore.
Thanks, Dad. There's gonna be this ceremony at school this weekend. I'm being inducted into a National Honor Society. I know it's tough, but it'd be great if you could all make it.
Of course we'll be
That's
there.
great. Aren't you being silly?
We're all so proud of you.
That one just hit me like a ton of bricks. Max suffers from feeling neglected at home, as we'll see later that her parents are split up and the mom is always working. And while the other Spellbinder VR games we've seen thus far are a little over the top, Max just has such a simple desire, which makes it really sad that she can only get it in a VR world. And that a girl as smart and talented as her can be turned to trying to steal more credits to get more time in the virtual world.
Max, what are you doing?
Go away, you wouldn't understand.
I understand Spellbinder's got you hooked and you're stealing for it.
So what?
So keep at it and you'll end up a veg. Listen to me.
You don't have a clue how good it feels, Terry. Everybody wants you in there. And the second you're back out here, your whole body hurts for more. I just want to get back inside.
It's an addiction, Max. He's messed up your brain chemistry. Come on, let me help you.
Your whole family lives here?
Whole family is just me and my sister most of the time. The folks split up when I was a kid, and Mom's on the road a lot for work. I guess you and I both have our secrets. Except mine seems kind of pathetic right now.
Hey, at least you don't have to wear tights. Speaking of secrets, I gotta call the guy. Then you'll take me back to Spellbinder? It's me. Yeah, she's fine. I'm letting her. Oh!
Terry!
Whoever you are, when he wakes up, tell him I'm sorry.
I emphasize this for the third time. I don't know how you can watch this and just not want to see Batman bust through the wall and beat the shit out of this guy.
Can't believe I got her involved in this.
Now you sound like Batman.
What?
I've been right where you are. More times than I care to count. And like you said, there's no way you could have stopped her.
The music in Beyond Season 2 is just as good as Season 1. Let's listen to this track. Now, here's where that dreaded ending comes up. Terry tries to stop Max, but gets in a fight with Spellbinder, and this part was actually really cool as we flash back to shots from the whole show prior to this.
Go on, your dream world awaits.
What just happened? She goes from a completely deluded addict to saving Batman in the span of 30 seconds. I don't know, I just thought that was about as rushed as you could get. This is what I'm saying. They wanted to tell this really interesting story where we have great scenes like going to Donnie's house or learning Max's life story. That leaves no room for satisfying endings, as Spellbinder is defeated with only 20 seconds left of the episode. Let's see it.
And now that doctors have studied Spellbinder's VR technology, they're successfully treating the psychopsychologist's remaining victims.
You can say it already. I almost got us both killed because I wouldn't butt out.
It worked out okay.
I just wanted to be a part of something.
Well, congratulations, because you're a part of it now. But we'll take it a little slower from now on.
Yup, that's it. Doctors have studied the machine, now everyone's cured. The end! This is the limit of trying to tell stories as grand as this one in 22 minutes. It's not easy, but I'll give more reflection on that in the conclusion. Does the ending ruin the episode? I mean, I used to think so, and if you do, that makes sense to me. However, I enjoyed the ride there so much that I don't mind. Points are greatly reduced, but not enough for me to say this isn't a great episode, as 21 great minutes out of 22 definitely counts for something. Episode 9, Rats. I hate this episode, not because it's bad, but because I hated watching it. I understand this is a me problem and not the episode's problem, but let me explain. The plot is that Terry and Dana have another fight, really realistic because being Batman just leaves no time for anything else.
I've been looking all over for you.
Look somewhere else. As far as you're concerned, I'm not here.
Ooh. Listen, I'm sorry. Mr. Wayne needed me again last night. I don't blame you for being mad.
Mad? Tara, I am way beyond mad. I've tried to be patient.
And you've been great. You've always been there for me.
So what do I get in return? Broken dates, broken promises. You care more about your dumb job than you do about me.
Dana, I have responsibilities now. My mom and brother depend on me. What do you want?
Someone who occasionally will be there for me.
So Dana is left a flower by this creepy guy in the sewers who hangs around with giant rats, and Dana is kidnapped by him while she's supposed to be on a date with Terry. And here we see how her father's not approving of her dating Terry, as he has a criminal record prior to moving in with his mom and becoming Batman.
Dana, I wish you weren't seeing that boy. He's been in trouble. He's got a record.
That was a long time ago, Dad. He's got a job now. He's really trying to make good.
but you could do so much better.
Speaking of Batman, he misses the date because this mad bomber called Mad Stan is trying to blow up the library as Terry goes full Spider-Man here.
Keep it down, Stan. We're in a library.
You think this is a joke? Look around, Batman. Society is crumbling. And do you know why?
Too many overdue books?
Information overload, man. As a society, we're drowning in a quagmire of vid clips, email, and sound bites.
And I like this part.
Yeah. Keep your shirt on.
Where is she, McGinnis? Where's my daughter?
Dana? I don't know.
She was supposed to be with you last night, but she never came home.
She didn't? Mr. Tan, you gotta believe me, I have no idea what—
McGinnis, I warned her you were nothing but trouble. If anything's happened to her, I swear, I'll be back.
So back to why I hated this episode. Because this sewer dweller is a societal reject that everyone made fun of, and that thinks that he can keep Dana here forever, thinking her problems with Terry made them two peas in a pod, and ugh, God, I just can't with this. Not to dump my problems on anybody, but as someone who fears a life of social isolation to such an extreme where it leads to antisocial derangement such as this, I could barely look at the screen half the time. I get that sounds pretty small, but it's something that makes it so that I will never watch this episode again, and hope to never even look in its direction after this edit is done.
Let's blow this mouse house.
Kill him! Rip him to pieces!
Ugh. Thank you, fuck you, bye. Episode 10, Mind Games. This one's pretty interesting. First, Terry and Max are studying for the history test.
Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton...
Yeah?
I don't know.
Come on. Clinton was the fun one, then came the boring one.
They're all boring.
I thought that part was cute. Clinton was president at the time of the airing of this episode, so they conveniently get cut off there. It does get me thinking, though. History classes must just get more difficult every decade because there's constantly content being added. But anyway, Batman saves this car with a creepy man, woman, and child. But this kid starts telepathically reaching out to Terry while he's in school.
Who's the boring one?
Quiet.
You have to help me. I don't want to go. I refuse to go. Please help me.
What?
Please. I don't want to go. Please help me.
I don't understand.
Mr. McGinnis, what don't you understand?
Nothing. Sorry.
You have to help me. I don't want to go. I refuse to go. Please help me. Please.
Guess what?
She's here.
Yep. Right there, asking for help again.
Talk to her.
Who are you?
Tamara.
What are you doing here?
I need your help.
Yeah, I got that. So where are you? Jeez.
What do you see?
Not you or the mutt. It looks like a living room, real swanked out. Her parents are over there on the phone.
Can you ID the place?
Yeah, on the pillows.
She's doing it again. You're calling again, aren't you?
What happened?
Daddy's mad.
What was on the pillows?
Letters. GPT.
Gotham Park Towers.
Terry and Max go to the GPT undercover as I really vibe with Terry in this scene.
Makes me look a little less conspicuous.
Right.
The girl's father is, of course, indestructible. Seriously, take a shot every time Terry gets beat up in this season. Actually, don't do it. I don't want the legal burden. The girl is, of course, not the child of these weirdos. They're trying to take her for her unique abilities for their group, the Brain Trust, where all members have access to the full powers of the human brain. That's how that guy was indestructible. As Batman meets the real parents.
Easy. I'm not here to make trouble. I've been talking to your girl.
We're not rich people, and raising Tamara's been tough. She isn't like other kids, but I guess you know that.
When they told us about their special school, it was like a godsend. Finally, she could get the help she needed.
Right after they took her, Joyce realized that she forgot to pack her favorite toy.
I called them up right there and then, but no one answered.
None of the numbers. It was all bogus, the whole school.
Where have they taken her? Where is my girl?
I'm trying to find that out, Mrs. Calder.
It's at the fake school where Terry meets a member of the Brain Trust. Before I get to that, though, this place is set up in such a way to be the perfect fake school to trick optimistic parents of kids with telekinetic abilities into handing the kids over. Fucking disgusting. As I've said in Batman Season 2 and Justice League Season 2, child abuse and animal abuse, these are enemies I cannot wait to watch get what's coming to them. Back to this brain trust guy. His name is Edgar Mandragora, and wait, that name sounds kind of familiar.
Here's the deal. I tell you what I know about Cadmus immediately after you help me find out what rock Stephen Mandragora is hiding under.
Interesting.
The Cadmus arc strikes again. Terry's here battling the adult Edgar Mandragora in 2040, but almost 40 years ago, Huntress wanted to find Stephen Mandragora, who killed her parents, and with the help of the Question, she was able to do it. However, he knew all along that Green Arrow and Black Canary would help them get Mandragora back in jail, and that Mandragora was having his son Edgar shipped in from overseas, and that the sight of the kid would have convinced Huntress to let go of her vengeance, and it did. The Question was playing 4D chess. All to get a date.
Why risk your life for me?
Because I like you.
Now we have the Question sparing the Mandragora family to thank for the utterly bizarre scene you're about to watch. So thanks, Question.
I hate it when you blitz me like that.
Not quite.
Now, these assholes get the punishment I was eagerly awaiting. However, this is another one of those episodes where we really can't see Tamara go home. We just don't have time for it, so Terry's just gonna have to briefly explain it in the remaining time.
Ghost Girl ends up saving your butt.
I'd call it a mutual butt-saving situation.
Whatever.
Actually, it turned out pretty good. Tamara and her parents were put under protective custody. Not only did they end up in a better place, but they got doctors to help her with her powers.
You think she's doing okay?
Oh yeah. I've got a feeling she's doing just fine.
The episode isn't really affected by that too much. I mean, it's not like we really need to see those things for the story to be complete. It just would have been nice. So definitely still a good episode at the end of the day. Episode 11. Revenant. The alpha male coach gets his trophies destroyed by what seems to be some kind of phantom, as everyone in the school speculates it to be the deceased student Garrison Jacobs. So all the girls do a seance in the gym as the jock Nelson Nash comes in and says some jockey shit, but the ghost attacks and nearly destroys the whole gym in an effort to get Nelson. Here's Bruce's take.
These people believe anything they can't explain is magic.
Naturally, you don't believe in those kind of things.
Of course I do. I've seen it all. Demons, witch boys, immortals, zombies. But this thing, I don't know, it just feels so high school.
So high school. I love that. He doesn't disbelieve in ghosts. I mean, he's worked with them before, but this is just too high school for him. Bruce seemed to conveniently forget the times he fought in alien invasions, but that's production versus timeline for you. At the Mcginnis home, this happens.
Maybe we could hold a seance here, at home.
What for, Squirt?
To bring Dad's ghost back.
Matt, honey, there are no such things as ghosts.
But the board...
It's a fake. Dad is gone, honey. He's not coming back, even as a ghost.
But I need to see him again. I need to. I'm forgetting what he was like.
I can't imagine what it's like losing a parent so young. Glad I never experienced it, and my heart goes out to anyone who did. The next act of the ghost is telling Nelson's old girlfriend from the Golem episode that he still loves her. Speaking of Golem, that episode gets referenced here, but it's actually not one-off continuity. Here's where it all clicks right into place.
First, our so-called ghost tried to kill Nelson. Then it left a love message for Blade. Now, what connects them?
They're not connected. They broke up after the thing at the pier.
Oh.
It all fits. The message, Nelson, the shop teacher, the coach. He hated them all. It's no ghost. It's Willie Watt.
Welcome to Juvenile Hall.
I've been here before.
Be advised that all your activities will be monitored from this point on. You'll have 15 minutes for your visit with inmate number 7725. You're here to see Willie?
Yeah, why?
Nobody ever comes to visit Willie.
Not even his old man?
No one. Not in all the time he's been here. Nobody calls, nobody writes. It's creepy. But then again, so is Willie. Everyone here is a little afraid of him.
Afraid? Of skinny Willie Watt?
Yeah.
Terry!
Well, hot damn. Once more, they can do whatever they want with these villains they've introduced, including making Willie Watts swole as shit with psychic powers. As Terry exposes him, he escapes and tries to kill Nelson. You know, I suppose it's like real high school. Willie's going to jail like he deserves for destruction of property, theft, and attempted murder, but Nelson Nash acting like a dickhead to someone who is just a scrawny kid trying to get through the day will never get punished. At least we can end on this happy note for Terry and Matt, though.
Hey, I remember this trip. It was great. You fell in that hornet's nest.
I remember it too, but not as fondly as you.
Dad warned you to watch where you were going. He knew about that kind of stuff.
See? You do remember him. And he'll never be gone as long as you keep him alive. In here.
Now on to my absolute favorite episode of the season, episode 12, Babel. Shriek was one of my favorite villains from the last season, and his episode is also one of my favorites for the unique experience his sound suit gave to the show. Now you can tell he's back since some sound in the air is causing animals to go crazy, with the zoo especially being ripped to shreds. Similar to the Spellbinder in episode 8, Shriek now has no reason to hold anything back, as he's just now a criminal, not a sound engineer at Wayne Powers.
Till they pay you mucho creds to ease up, right?
Credits? After what was taken from me, do you honestly think I care about money? Ollie, there's a whole world of sound out there that I'll never hear outside of this stinking suit!
Shriek has it out for Batman now, as he blames him for the fact that he can no longer hear anything outside of his sound suit, which will again be put to great use in the episode. So anyway, the episode starts with Bruce and Terry discussing something that seems irrelevant, but we'll have to see about that.
And then what did you do?
Well, what does it matter? It was a long time ago. A very long time.
Don't want to talk about it, huh?
In case you haven't noticed, we've still got a lot of this shrapnel to deal with.
How'd you know Robin would get there in time to save you?
I didn't.
Then, for all you knew, you were walking into a trap with no way out.
Sometimes you have to.
After the animal crisis, Bruce has deduced what's going on.
The disturbances started at midnight and ended at 2. At the same time, the military reported interference on certain sonar frequencies.
So we're talking sound here.
And you know who that means.
The episode creates an even more unique vibe than the first Shriek episode, as he has reach over the whole city, like this part. I wasn't sure what was going on at first, but it clicks after a couple seconds.
And that suit of his was pretty powerful, but I don't see how it could have affected that much of the city.
Maybe he found some way to Pradish dash Pergrana.
What? You're not making Ursino. Cordytiotoxin?
Terry, what's happening to you? Granboki Waggle, Laxna.
Nolam Tau. Tau Base.
Shriek has the technology to manipulate the sound waves to where everyone hears gibberish when other people are talking, which of course hurts work like construction, as Bruce and Terry can only communicate via text message. Another standout scene is that never happens outside this episode.
Everyone's going nuts.
Shriek must have found a way to interfere with the vibrations of air molecules. Air molecules carry the vibrations of human speech.
That's what I get for sleeping through physics.
I like how the word "huh" appears in big letters on the back computer. It's just good character gags like that are part of why I love the DCAU. Now up to this point, Shriek has only been showing the city what he's capable of. Now it's time for the drama.
Knockpen? The city's going crazy.
Shall termine vir qua. And I've alerted the newspapers to print emergency instructions.
Wait a minute. I can understand you.
And you're making sense now, too. As much as you usually make, anyway. Gordon.
It's Shriek. I shut off the interference so you could hear this. I'm willing to give the city back its sanity, permanently, in exchange for Batman's life.
Batman? There's no way I can...
Tonight, midnight, Hill Square. If he's not there, things will get even worse.
You're out of your mind.
Duh.
But it's still going to take some time to isolate the...
Bruce, the truce is only temporary.
Why am I not surprised?
We're mobilizing, but even if we're lucky, hundreds will die. Maybe thousands.
We're trying to find his transmitter, and once we do...
He wants Batman. That's his price.
If he wants Batman, he can have me.
You're not him. At least you're not the one he wants.
What are you saying, Barbara? That I should just hand Terry over to Shriek?
No, give him to me. I'll figure out something. I had some pretty good teachers, remember?
I remember. But you work for a mayor who'd sell out the kid at the drop of a hat.
Look, if you've got a better plan...
All I know right now is this. That kid's done a lot for this city. It's time for the city to do something for him.
We're trying, Bruce, but we've only got till midnight. What then?
The masses instantly turn against Terry as Bruce calls them all spineless fools. But these are some really grim odds. Terry is just a 17-year-old kid, and if he doesn't go to Shriek, he'll be held responsible for the death of thousands. But can Terry live with his close friends and family losing him? I mean, I don't know. I might literally melt into a puddle if I was put into that position. Being Batman is not fun in games. We're dealing with total nut jobs here. But that leads us to this scene.
Dad? Oh my God. Where is he? Where's Dad? Dad? Dad!
Like the choice of Solaris Phase 1 in the background there, by the way.
Terry.
You sound surprised.
You're not thinking of handing yourself over to him, are you?
That's not my first choice, no.
I wouldn't blame you if you stayed home. Not after what all those ingrates have been saying.
I didn't get into this for gratitude. I have a feeling you didn't either. That's it. That's how he's doing it.
How? How's he doing it?
I'm sure of it. He's found a way to adapt the Kilmus Bay for Kama.
What? He must have started the interference again. I can't...
The battle between Batman and Shriek makes even better usage of sound than before, as Shriek decides to produce sound so excruciating that the whole city is on its knees. But since Shriek is deaf without his sound suit, he just takes it off, giving him a clear advantage. This tower is giving Shriek his citywide power, but when it starts crumbling, he's deaf and can't hear it.
The towers are falling! Get away from there! No use pleading. You're dead.
But don't worry, he somehow lived through that. Ending the episode, how it began.
Thanks.
For what?
For reminding me why I got into this. It's been so many years now.
But you never really forget, do you?
No, you don't. Tell me, what if you hadn't figured out how Shriek was using the towers? Would you have handed yourself over to him at midnight?
In case you haven't noticed, we've got a suit to repair here.
Sometimes you just have to go into a trap knowing it's the right thing to do. What a fantastic character episode. Terry is not a kid in a costume. He's become Batman, making difficult choices that only he can make. That's Batman. That's been Batman and will always be Batman. Shriek really brings out the best in this show, I think. Unique sound design and sound-based obstacles and fantastic character moments, like Bruce planning on handing himself over to Shriek, even though we all know Shriek doesn't care about the old Batman, but Bruce would do it because he cares about Terry and respects him that much and doesn't want him to get hurt. But Terry does what he has to do and comes out on top. At this point, I've reviewed hundreds of DCAU episodes, and the fact that these Shriek ones can stand out in my mind and have me go, wow, this is a great show, when the credits start rolling is a testament to the quality here. Episode 13. Terry's friend dates a robot. Wait, what? Okay, Terry's friend dates a robot. Okay then, get the wacky hijinks music. Terry's fat friend Howard is throwing a party since his parents are out of town, but since nobody wants to come, he hires a guy to make him a hot girlfriend who quickly becomes obsessed with Howard, trying to kill all the girls who give Howard attention now that he's a cool kid, leading to a fight with Batman that blows up the entire house. And he's no longer a cool kid. The end. Well, that was an episode. I like how it establishes that in 2040 it's actually a crime to make a fake person out of an AI, which is why he goes to this creepy salesman for the robot, which is the same company that Bruce gets training dummies from, which is where the episode starts.
As Batman, you must handle the widely varied tactics of your criminal adversaries. Some will try to distract you with bizarre gimmicks. Learn to use their weapons against them.
Bizarre gimmicks, eh? This first gives us an insight into how Bruce goes about beating his villains, figuring out their patterns and using said patterns against them. Bizarre gimmicks is also what separates Batman villains from a lot of Superman villains, as Batman villains have widespread application, whereas Superman villains like Metallo just shoot kryptonite beams, and the Parasite just jumps on Superman taking his powers. Okay, moving on. Episode 14, Eyewitness. Worth noting at the start that the episodes Eyewitness, The Final Cut, The Last Resort, Armory, Sneak Peek, The Egg Baby, Zeta, Plague, April Moon, and Centuries of the Last Cosmos, and the Season 3 episode Speak No Evil all have a similar problem. When putting the show on Blu-ray, the original negatives of these episodes were either lost or damaged beyond repair, so therefore they went through the upscaling process from the DVD release. So for the next several episodes, the downgrade in quality can be explained by that. We're just basically looking at less grainy DVD footage. Anyway, this is one of my favorite episodes for the concept and for the character depth, but there is a massive problem with it I can get into. Up to this point, Barbara Gordon doesn't want anything to do with Terry as Batman, which only gets worse as Batman accidentally busts a police undercover operation, which is a situation we haven't seen before. Batman, Superman, and the Justice League were always the competent ones while the police sucked.
Maybe because we thought we could do our jobs without help from the mighty Justice League.
And yet, here we are.
Law and order had to been kept somehow in this city without Batman, so it makes sense for Batgirl's police unit to be doing a perfectly fine job until this kid shows up and ruins it. Which, kid or not, I think this is a much more realistic occurrence if Batman was real.
Not bad.
I learned from the best. If only I could figure out how he made those little tea cakes.
Crumpets.
Right, crumpets. All right, we've made the requisite small talk.
Did he tell you what happened?
I heard some mistakes were made.
Mistakes? It took us 12 months to set up that sting. Men put their lives on the line for it.
The boy is still learning.
The boy is a hothead. I've been doing some checking on him.
I know about his record.
3 months at juvie. Another mistake, I suppose. He seems to make a lot of them. Just make sure this one was his last.
To comment on that scene, nobody even brings up the obvious fact that if the police were to work with Batman, things would go smoother, although I doubt she wants to hear that anyway. Things only get worse as Barbara's husband, Sam, is up for re-election as Mad Stan tries to blow up the place, leading to the end fight as Barbara witnesses firsthand Terry killing Mad Stan.
Go ahead. Take me in. You know I'll get out. And when I do, I'll finish this job once and for all.
You're right. And I can't let that happen.
No! Oh! Don't! Ah! Drop it! Drop it!
Commissioner!
Hold it! Is he
dead?
This is my fault. I should have done something sooner. But now I'm finally going to put an end to it.
To what, Commissioner?
To Batman.
So the cops are looking for Terry now as Barbara visits the Batcave. Really good scene here.
When he comes, you have to turn him over.
If you take him in, you'll expose his secret. And mine. And yours.
What other choice do I have? Do we have? Believe me, I'm acutely aware of the ramifications. I have a husband running for re-election. How long do you think that'll last when this hits the web? No one can protect us this time, Bruce. He went too far.
Hot damn. That would be pretty bad. Under normal circumstances, I actually think Barbara has the best shot at getting away with Bruce being exposed of everyone in the Bat family. I mean, think about it. If you find out that Terry is Batman, and that he is Bruce Wayne's aide, at the exact same time that a new Batman shows up, you then realize that Bruce is the old Batman, his first adopted son, Dick Grayson, would have to be the first Robin, making Dick Grayson the mysterious Nightwing that comes into Gotham at the exact same time as Dick Grayson's return, as Robin disappeared alongside Grayson, automatically making Tim Drake the second adopted son of Bruce Wayne, the second Robin. Such simple logic could not deduce who Batgirl was because Bruce never took in a female, nor did Barbara Gordon ever directly associate with Bruce Wayne beyond being Dick's girlfriend in Batman Season 3 and Sub-Zero, but that's a bit of a stretch. Barbara herself exposing Terry, Bruce, Dick, and Tim and herself is different though. This goes back and taints her father as well as he was the police commissioner allowing Batman to help out, but somehow didn't know his daughter was Batgirl. He had to have known. I mean, look at that costume. It's so obvious. He handed the job of commissioner over to his daughter who spent part of her youth as a vigilante criminal, which he had to have known. And according to Mystery of the Batwoman, that's not allowed.
Condoning vigilantes is one thing, but even Commissioner Gordon draws the line at employing them. We're just lucky the DA's looking the other way.
And as she said, this hurts Sam as he's taken a firm stance against crime as the DA and his wife was Batgirl. Did he not know this? If not, I'm sure that would have a negative impact on their relationship and his polling numbers.
Terry?
Bruce, you gotta help me. I don't know why, but the cops are after me.
Did you think you could get away with killing Mad Stan?
Killing? What are you talking about?
Barbara was an eyewitness. She saw everything.
All I did was hit him with my elbow. He was knocked out, not dead.
She wouldn't lie.
And I would?
Where are you? If you want me to trust you, you've got to trust me.
I'm at Max's.
Stay there. Computer, access Grand Hotel security. Video link, 10:30 p.m. Parking garage, level 6.
Oh, so the footage is out right when Stan is quote-unquote killed. Well, we know Bruce's ideology thanks to one of the best star-crossed lines.
A single ship attacks a major city. Then the Thanagarian Armada coincidentally shows up to save us. I don't believe in coincidence.
So?
I checked the hotel security tapes.
Yeah?
There was some kind of electronic interference. I couldn't see anything.
Oh, jeez, Bruce, you gotta believe me.
I do. It's too coincidental. There's something else going on here.
What do we do?
I'm trying to enhance the video. It's going to take a while. In the meantime, I think we should pay Mad Stan a visit.
Great plan. Visit Mad Stan's spot in the morgue, and of course, there's no body.
Whoa. Now I'm really creeped.
What is it?
He's gone. Somebody must have gotten here first, taken the body.
Or maybe it was never there to begin with.
I can get back to that line in a second. From then on, the episode turns into the TNBA episode Over the Edge, if it was real. Barbara really thought of everything, as they have a scanner to reveal Terry when he's invisible, and fans to remove smoke bombs. It's great. With this being 2040, I can buy the fact that Bruce has the technology to somehow artificially enhance the footage from the security tape to reveal a man standing in the shadows.
Data reclamation completed. Good. Now we'll see what really happened. Play sequence. Why would Barbara see something different? Play again. Freeze frame. Enlarge.
Proving that the Spellbinder is behind this one. His last appearance and his most deadly. He has his sights set personally on ruining Batman like Shriek did a few episodes ago, and he came really close.
What took you so long? Yes.
It's me.
You're not authorized to use this frequency. Get off it, now.
Barbara, you have to listen to me.
Wrong. Those days are long gone, Bruce.
Terry.
A little busy right now.
Put your visor through a frequency scan.
Why?
Because I know who's behind all this.
Spellbinder.
Hold your fire! This better not be a trick.
Sorry.
He thought of everything, including locking Mad Stan inside his hookup machine from episode 8. Batman and Bruce were really screwed here if they took a second longer.
Didn't know you had a shadow, did you, Commissioner?
Spellbinder?
He was there at the garage with us. He used his powers to create an illusion.
That's why I saw you kill Mad Stan.
But I didn't. I wouldn't.
You were so ready to believe the worst. It was easy.
Lock him up. Sorry, kid. I guess I blew it.
I've been there.
So this was a fantastic episode with high personal stakes for every character. You really understand Barbara trying to do what she thinks is right. Terry and Bruce's relationship is put on the line. More trust is established. I love all of that.
So the commissioner calls her personally and says she just wanted to award me with a student service medal. So now I'm in like Shui City with my mom. She's even taking me out to celebrate.
That's nice.
For that reason, it's one of my favorite episodes of the show. But a big thing I can't ignore is how little sense the morgue scene makes. Mad Stan is in Spellbinder's machine, but it was the real Mad Stan fighting Terry at the start. His spot in the morgue was empty, right? But how did he get in there? Like Bruce says, maybe it was never there, but the police clearly told Barbara that Mad Stan was dead. They had to have taken that body and moved it to the morgue. Did Spellbinder take the body away? Maybe, but how did everyone think he was dead? Did Spellbinder have Green Arrow's stunner?
It's a stunner. Puts you in metabolic stasis for a few minutes.
Which he would have used after Batman knocked Stan out, but the episode should have explained this. The fact that they didn't is a really dark cloud that hangs over this episode. If someone can explain this to me, then all is forgiven. I'm taking what I just said as headcanon, but it doesn't excuse leaving gaping holes in the story like that. Like I said, an otherwise great episode, but that is a hard pill to swallow. Episode 15, The Final Cut. Kirare is on the run from the Society of Assassins as established last season, but instead she's taken it upon herself to hunt down every member of the society and kill them before they kill her. They could have avoided this by mending the policy, but since when do evil villain societies think with logic? So the last member standing hires Batman for protection, and if he doesn't, a bomb will blow up the city. But Max decides she's going to help in the field this time, much to Terry's protest. Kirare thankfully lets Max go, teaching her the lesson to stick to the computer next time. But this rescue caused the guy to get killed by Kirare, meaning Terry and Max have to track down the bomb themselves as Kirare now wants to kill Batman for revenge. This is one of my favorite fight scenes in Beyond thus far. It's really fast with standout camera angles as they fight in this weapons museum. Also, there's this part, the plasma rifle display.
Sorry, buddy.
Ah, that's nostalgic. Seriously, when I played that clip last, we weren't even done with BTAS yet, and I showed a clip of Batman Beyond Season 2. It's almost been 2 years since that video came out. Crazy, I know. Time flies when you're analyzing the DC animated universe.
How do you do it?
Do what?
This hero thing.
It's easier for me. I got the suit.
No. How do you save the world and not tell anybody?
I can tell you. You can tell me. That's why I'm glad you found out. Partner.
I should mention, Bruce actually isn't in this episode. It shows you how far Terry has come in a mere 28 episodes. I don't think he could have done this without help in Season 1. Max was crucial to the victory here, but still, Terry completing a mission and making decisions without Bruce are a sign of character growth. Short review, but good episode. Episode 16, The Last Resort. This one was pretty screwed up, as a new facility for troubled teens has opened up, where these kids who have oftentimes done nothing truly heinous are locked up, deprived of sleep and constantly berated by this guy on the big screen. Any ounce of resilience gets you a trip to this pitch black room for a day. As Bruce puts it, classic mind control techniques. With Terry deciding to go undercover and infiltrate the place.
Terry?
What happened to you?
I haven't been sleeping much.
Is this why you didn't want to see me?
Terry, I did want to see you. They told me you canceled.
But...
Listen, there's a lot of weird stuff going on here.
I know. Hold on a second. Okay, go.
The sleep thing's just the beginning, Terry. He's trying to break our will, turn us all into little robots. Wheeler's got this thing they call ISO, short for isolation. It's total sense deprivation. No light, no sound. He uses it on the kids who don't get with the program. Terry, you gotta get me out of here.
That's gonna happen, Shells. Just as soon as someone I know sees this vid.
When the video is discovered, these maniacs toss Terry in their jail, teaming up with an old rival of his to lead a revolution. I honestly don't really have anything to say on this episode other than that it's a really interesting and suspenseful watch, but not particularly rich in the analysis department. I like how Max has to keep Terry informed on all the school drama though at the beginning, as he's always out of the loop.
Let me see if I got all this. Jurgen is breaking up with Blade so he can see Chris, but Chris is interested in Eric, who doesn't want to date anybody. Now, wait a minute, that doesn't sound like Eric to me.
It's not. You're thinking of the other Eric.
Oh man, there's two of them now?
See how important these little updates are? Without them, people would start wondering why you don't know what's going on at school anymore.
I should just tell them I'm busy chasing renegade synthoids and living heads.
They wouldn't believe it.
And I like the ending.
I got worried when you didn't come back.
Bet you brought one of your old bat suits with you.
You'll never know. I hope you don't think this place was typical.
No, but I sure wish we didn't need them.
I know.
Episode 17, Armory. This one really plays with the heartstrings. I'm kicking myself for not playing the beginning of this clip from Season 1, Episode 10, Spellbound.
You don't seem very excited. Your mom's wedding, big bash, lots of food, then you get the house to yourself for 3 weeks?
Whatever.
You don't like the guy?
My mom goes through husbands like popcorn. I don't bother to get attached.
Yikes.
I didn't think that aspect of the episode was particularly important. Jared's mom was getting remarried, but this evidently happens a lot. Right at the start, we see that these two are still together. It says something nice about this guy that he's still here after Spellbinder completely ruined their wedding. Honestly, that brief moment just made me really happy to see. But no start that makes you happy like that at the very beginning can last very long.
Laid off?
Paxton Powers wants to move the Light Weapons Division into new areas.
You mean he wants to dump me and hire someone else at a lower salary?
I won't dignify that with an answer. Due to recent market reversals, your severance package, alas, will be modest.
I built that division up from nothing. I was in special forces. I've got degrees in electronics and engineering. They'll have to hire 2 people to replace me.
Take it easy, Jim.
Look, Karen, I just got married. I'm remodeling the house. I've got alimony. Things are tight. I mean, you started out as my assistant. Put in a word for me. Let me outsource as a consultant until I can find something else.
There's nothing I can do.
Oh my god, Paxton Powers. We haven't seen him all season, nor have any episodes so far had anything to do with Wayne Powers. But it's days like this where you just want to see Wayne Powers demolished and restored to its former glory. Now this guy's done for. He's getting laid off so Paxton can spare a buck. He can't get work anywhere else either, as the economy and the job market are not going well right now, which affects home life.
It's just that even discounted, the marble is going to be 20% above the bid, not including...
I don't care! I'm sorry. I didn't mean to snap. Whatever you want, hon, I'm sure it'll look great.
Man, this just really got me. Again, they make those paying attention to continuity really happy to see this family still together, and now it can't end well because he was laid off. This kind of family situation and division really gets to me for reasons not worth going into in a Batman Beyond video, but wow, you guys are really getting a window into my mind today. Anyway, the only work he can get is by building an illegal, highly destructive weapon under the table for another company to sell to another country, marking the debut of the villain, Armory. He has special forces skills and a vast engineering knowledge, making him a capable foe for Batman. At the end, we get the cliche of Jared hiding in the lab, but a spider crawling by gets him exposed. But this scene as well is just sad and also telling of this family, as Jared and his mother actually do care for him as a person, and not as a money dispenser, showing true character in this reveal scene.
Please, Lorraine, I had to.
No!
Don't you see? I did this for you. For both of you. I had to. There was no other way. I was going to lose everything.
You wouldn't have lost us. You did this for yourself, Jim. All your high talk and big money, you lied to us, and now...
Listen, babe, it's over. This was just a stopgap, that's all. A way to get over the hump. It's gonna be okay.
How? 'Cause no one knows? I know. Jared knows. How in the name of heaven is this ever gonna be okay?
But Jim also proves that he really did only do this to provide for the family, as he could have killed Batman and let his family go down and protect himself, but he doesn't.
The war's over, Istvan. We lost.
When an episode elicits strong emotions from me, you're looking at a good review. I feel like an episode such as this or Hooked Up are really timeless because themes such as hard times leading to bad choices with good intentions, or teenage issues with addiction, peer pressure, and isolation are things people watching this in 2000 could relate to, things I can watch in 2020 and feel everything they want you to feel, and that will stay that way for decades to come. Episode 18, Sneak Peek. Speaking of timeless episodes and lessons, this is another example to add to the list. The episode focuses on the hit show, The Inside Peek, where the host, Ian Peek, airs footage of celebrities' dirty laundry, including telling the world that this famous person is a splicer, or that Paxton Powers is a player. Or on a more serious note, exposing a deal between the DA and a gang member to tell the gang's secrets. You could probably imagine how popular a show like this would be with the masses. I mean, it's such accessible drama. But Terry's mom says that he wouldn't like it if it was him.
Hey! I don't want you watching this.
See, I told you.
I was talking to both of you.
Come on, it's just entertainment.
You wouldn't find it so entertaining if you were on the receiving end.
Peek gets footage by going invisible and walking through walls, placing a camera in the Batmobile, getting footage of the whole cave as well as the faces of Bruce Wayne and Terry Mcginnis, planning on making web history with this one.
It's some sort of cavern or cave, but what it really is a bizarre museum. A museum filled with mementos of a nearly forgotten crusade against crime. Its chief curator is this man. You know him as Batman, but he has another identity, one that I'll reveal tonight on The Inside Peek.
Sway.
But that's not all. You'll also see the face of Batman's mysterious friend, and you'll find out what part he played in Gotham's greatest secret.
A once-in-a-lifetime event. Only here, only tonight.
Hello?
It's me.
There's this thing on the web.
I know. They've been running it twice an hour since before dawn.
How did he...
He planted a camera in the Batmobile. I just found it.
Then it's my fault. It's all my fault.
I always assumed I'd be found out sooner or later.
It's just galling that a piece of garbage like Peak had to be the one.
But he himself is suffering from a condition where he's losing his body to such long exposure to the phase through technology that was lost in a fire at Wayne Powers. This is another really bad situation for Terry to be in, as he actually does something really mature here, pleading for Peak to do whatever he wants with him but to leave Bruce alone.
Once I saw that the old guy was Bruce Wayne, it wasn't hard to figure out who you were. He was the original Batman, wasn't he? Wasn't he?
I don't care what you do to me, but he doesn't deserve this. He's done too much for the city to wind up in the middle of a media circus.
He means a lot to you, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does.
I believe you. I really do. That's the trouble with this business. You meet so many liars, you forget what sincerity sounds like. Want to say it all again while I've got the camera running?
This is like the part in Babel where Bruce told Barbara he would rather turn himself into Shriek than give Terry up. It's nice to see Terry try and help Bruce the same way. The relationship and respect between these two is great. Peak is also excellently unlikable. Want to say it again while I've got the camera running? Like, fuck you. Bruce was right to call him a piece of garbage in that scene earlier. But Peak is so pathetic that when his condition worsens, he actually asks Bruce Wayne for help.
My body's losing its substance. You gotta help me. You have the resources, that company, all those scientists.
There are other companies.
Yes, but Taco worked for yours.
What does he have to do with this?
I was the last one to interview him.
Taka never would have talked to someone like you.
You'd be surprised how obsequious someone like me can be when I need to. I have Taka's files and research right in there. I even have the belt he made.
You stole it. You're the one who started the fire.
I had to have it. To him it was just some experiment, but to me it was power. A chance to kick my career into high gear. You can't leave. You gotta help me.
Give me one good reason.
I know your secret. I know who you used to be.
You're losing your head.
That's Bruce fucking Wayne right there. Rather be exposed than accept this asshole begging for mercy when he would never have done the same. But this catches up to Peak as he starts falling through the ground. As Bruce says, the only force that has any effect on him now is gravity.
What's gonna happen to him?
My guess. He'll keep right on falling till he reaches the center of the Earth. It's about as inside as you can get.
That's another one of my favorite episodes of the show. Another critical lesson for Mr. McGinnis, as he started a big fan of Ian but came to see him for how scummy he is, and would most likely never watch a show like it again. Episode 19, The Egg Baby. I read that people apparently don't like this episode, but I don't know how that's possible. I think it's one of the funniest. It seems like outside of a select few, comedic DCAU episodes are usually given the shaft. Like one ranking I saw placed Eclipsed as one of the worst Justice League episodes. I mean, sure, the whole snakes taking over the world thing was pretty generic, but the comedy part not only makes up for it, but makes it one of the funniest DCAU episodes ever made.
What pinhead wrote this garbage?
Anyhooter, this woman and her sons are robbing a rich person's house as the butler takes them to the vault, and I already got a chuckle out of this episode as amongst all the money, they just take one jewel and the butler steals from the master.
Hello, police. I want to report a robbery. A ruby ring. And 20,000 credits.
Like, that's the last we see of that, but it's just a really funny gag. At Hamilton Hill High, Terry is failing family studies as Bruce is like, how do you fail family studies? To save Terry's grade, he's going to need to get an A on this project where these computer eggs that simulate babies will need to be taken care of in groups of 2. But I like this concept. It once again takes advantage of the show being set in the future by designing things and concepts that don't exist now but could later. Of course, Terry's partner is a shithead who could care less, meaning that he has to do all the work, which obviously means bringing the fucking baby on his nightly patrol. The secondhand embarrassment that comes from this situation is just so funny.
What's going on there? Is that a baby? You brought a baby with you?
It's not what you think, really.
Terry, is there something you need to tell me?
You brought a baby with you? Terry, is there something you need to tell me? Or later when Terry comes up with a new plan.
Hey, maybe you could... Never mind.
That would make so much sense, but old Bruce's scowl was enough for the audience to be like, nope, not gonna happen. But really though, you'd think that this baby getting in the way of Batman's work would be annoying, but it left me on the edge of my seat. Like seriously, when Terry gives the baby a spot to rest, it turns out to be the fucking dumpster right when they're gonna take it away.
Was that Batman?
Dumpster diving?
A fella's gotta eat.
And in the end, when Terry saves the day and the baby, he actually gets the best grade, and it makes perfect sense while being really cute and funny.
But a baby needs more than that. Its mind needs to be stimulated too. And according to this printout, only one baby was fully stimulated. The one belonging to Terry and Blade. Congratulations, Mr. McGinnis. Who knew you'd turn out to be such ideal father material?
See, that wasn't so bad, right? Episode 20, Zeta. So, you know that obscure DCAU show that I keep name dropping every now and again called The Zeta Project? I don't really know how a show like that got greenlit, but Zeta and his whole mythos came from this episode, as Zeta is a synthoid designed as a weapon of war, but wishes to kill no longer, and has been on the run from Agent Bennett and his group. So needless to say, it's E102 Gamma. The episode starts from the perspective of someone who doesn't know the full story, like Terry or Gordon, so obviously they trust Agent Bennett as he's an official telling them that Zeta is a menace. When you actually hear Zeta describe his motivations, you really do want to see him escape.
I was programmed to maintain the secrecy of my own existence. Anyone I replaced saw what I was and could never be set free.
But you didn't want to kill this terrorist guy?
He was not a terrorist. His associates were terrorists. He was an accountant.
So he was innocent?
Yes, but that is not why I spared him. Replacing him required that I live with his family. I watched them experience life. I saw his daughter ride a bicycle for the first time. I could not deprive her father of seeing her grow, just because he knew I existed.
Wow.
Zeta's story continues on from this episode into his own show, where Agent Bennett will continue to hunt him down.
I decide who I want to be.
And seeing this episode has made me interested to see where that will go, although I did hear it ends on a cliffhanger, which is never fun, but otherwise, I enjoyed this episode. It's another standard Batman Beyond fare, which is harder and harder to find things to say about with each passing episode, so let's rapidly move on as we have reached the final 6 episodes. Time for a speed round, like at the end of the Batman Season 2 video. Episode 21, Plague. The Stalker has returned under the employment of Agent Bennett to track down Falseface, a man carrying a deadly virus that works for the terrorist organization called Cobra. The virus needs to be stopped at all costs, with Batman and Stalker actually proving to be a pretty good team, leading to a variety of quality action scenes. I like the part where Falseface tries to get away by using Nelson's face, which you saw at the airport at the start of the story, leading to this.
How did you know? Not enough pimples.
In the middle of the episode, Stalker surprisingly saves Batman from a non-fatal situation, setting up his returning in the climax to save Batman from a deadly trap, as he wants to be the one to finish him off personally. But the virus is disposed of, Cobra's beaten, for now, and the episode is done. Episode 22, April Moon. This prosthetics doctor is forced to give these criminals robotic enhancements because they have his wife hostage. You feel pretty bad for this guy as he goes through hell in this episode. He just wants to help people with prosthetics, but through these criminals he loses his lab and everything. Already had been through a lot before the episode started, and to cap it off, his wife is with the leader of the group. Even I didn't see that coming. That's gotta suck. But then it's satisfying to see them get torn to pieces by Batman, and then the doctor gets his revenge on the leader of Bullwhip in the ending.
Oh yeah, April. Don't worry, she's doing fine. Can't wait to see you again. Uh-huh. You do this one last thing for me, and she's all yours. Uh-huh. But don't just repair me. Make me stronger, less vulnerable too. And don't hold back. Understand? I understand. No holding back.
Episode 23, Centuries of the Last Cosmos. As much as this episode didn't bug me personally like Rats did, I must say this is probably the weakest episode of the season, as really nothing of interest is going on here. These kids get so invested in this game that one of the creators turns them into criminals, hoping to kill the other co-creator that sued for not getting his cut of the profits. When Batman reveals the truth, the kids just become fans of the other guy, the end. I like how much intuition Terry has in the field, like putting a bug in the mansion of the villain when leaving. And it's funny when he goes,
Ow, that hurt! Ow, that hurt?
Other than that, this one really did nothing for me. Episode 24, Payback. And now, we have finally returned to the proper HD quality episodes. I thought this one was a lot of fun, as this guy called Payback has been attacking adults that give kids a hard time, bringing Terry to this center where teens are open about their problems with the doctor. When we're introduced to his son, I can recognize immediately that the Doctor ignores his own son while helping other people, as the audience and Terry clearly think Payback is the guy who does hang out with the Doctor's son, as Terry gets it wrong and is scolded by Bruce.
You might have gotten there in time if you hadn't jumped the gun with Lewis.
I know.
Do you? You injured an innocent man. That's inexcusable.
And I'm sorry, okay? But I got something more important to do right now.
And what might that be?
Stanton. If Payback's not Lewis, Stanton's gotta be the one.
Maybe he is, maybe he isn't. But from now on, we're handling it my way, which means taking our time and getting it right.
I knew at this point that Terry would probably complain about Bruce at the center causing Payback to strike, as Bruce being really demanding of Terry's time and energy with his heavy criticism has been set up well thus far in the series. So it was really funny as Bruce makes a public appearance for the first time in a while, in a cool BTAS Batmobile looking limo. Payback is all like,
"You're a mean old man, you know that."
But Bruce is still a total badass like always.
And what are you?
Your worst nightmare.
You have no idea what my nightmares are like.
With Payback actually turning out to be the kid.
I was always so busy, I kept dumping him on Lewis. He must have thought if he solved my patient's problems, I'd have more time for him. I'm so sorry.
Go to your son.
You called it. I put down the bait like you said, and Payback took it. Only it wasn't who I thought it would be. I was wrong. Twice.
Learn from it. That's all you can do. By the way, exactly what did you say in that group to get Payback so mad at me? You must have given quite a convincing performance.
Who said anything about performing?
I love that ending. Seriously, Terry and old Bruce are a lot of fun to watch. Episode 25. Where's Terry? Terry recognizes the assistant that worked for Shriek, but this leads to him being trapped in the tunnels with this kid. In the final example of how much Terry has grown in this season, he doesn't make fun of this kid or throw the attitude back in his face. He actually wants him to get out of this and be better and return to his family as the kid's a runaway.
Who do you want to be?
Maybe Blight or Spellbinder or somebody in the Royal Flush Gang.
Are you serious?
Hey, they did what they wanted and wouldn't let anyone tell them what to do.
But look how they ended up.
Yeah, thanks to you. And I'm gonna end up that way too now, thanks to you. You sure this is gonna work? I mean, if you use too much, you could blow our...
You think Blight would have worried about something like that?
I like that line. It would just get him to rethink his stance. Although I should say, this kid is voiced by the same guy who replaced Matthew Valencia as Tim Drake in Mystery of the Batwoman, Eli Marenthal. I don't think he's a very good actor, at least in his 2 DCAU appearances, which is a surprise as the voice direction of the DCAU is superb. Well, he's not bad, he's just not DCAU good. Of course, Bruce and everyone else is worried what happened to Terry as he can't be reached from underground, so Bruce and Max go looking for him as these two finally interact.
Go home.
Listen, I could be very valuable to you. In fact, I've already been very valuable. More times than I can count.
I said, go home.
Make me. You guys can't be the T's. I always heard the T's knew how to party.
We're the T's, all right. Nobody parties harder than us, babe.
Slapping around some old man, you call that partying?
You got a better idea?
I might. Why don't you both close your eyes?
Sorry. We like to watch.
Then don't say I didn't warn you.
Ah! Mace! Water! Water! Ah!
What are you doing? Trapper.
Now are you gonna tell me where you got that backpack?
I'm never gonna tell you nothing. Never.
Would you step out for a moment, please? He found it this morning.
As I should mention, Max learned that Bruce was the old Batman in the final cut.
Working late, fellas?
Our seismograph picked up something down there. Maybe a cave-in.
Ooh, a cave-in. Sounds dangerous.
Might be.
Speaking of dangerous, should that young lady be down there?
Hey, you! What are you doing? Get out of here! This is dangerous! Hey, come together! Hey!
That old man told me to do it. You should arrest him too. He's right over there.
God, he's such a badass character. Shriek has got Batman pinned down in the ending as Bruce comes back to save the day.
But at least it allows me the pleasure of dispatching you myself.
Why do they always talk so much?
I just happened to be in the neighborhood.
Jeez, what is that cane made of? Adamantium? Shriek in his powerful sound suit went flying in 2 hits. But I love that fucking line. Why do they always talk so much? I don't know what to tell you, I got a really good laugh out of that line. Episode 26, Ace in the Hole, the last episode. I just wanted to warn you that this episode does involve animal abuse. Not to a graphic degree, but I just figured I'd say that as I know the thought of it would be intense for a lot of people, myself included. When walking in the street, Ace notices his former owner, who is this total scumbag that takes in dogs to genetically mutate them and train them for dog fights, all in the name of profit. This leads Ace to attack him and go missing for most of the episode, as he's taken back into these pieces of shit. Seriously though, Puppy Ace is the cutest thing in the world, leading to these training scenes that were extra hard to watch. I audibly was like, oh my god, I thought he was about to start hitting him, which, do I need to explain why that creates strong emotions in me? We also see what old Bruce was up to prior to meeting Terry. He still visited the spot where his parents died every year, showing us how badass he is and how he met Ace.
Ho, ho, ho. Got your Tannenbaum here. How about a little Christmas cred? Get off!
Get out of here. Don't worry, boy. I won't ever let anyone hurt you again.
God, the Jokers are also pathetic scum. I guess I have a general hatred for pathetic scum. Anyway, in a great scene, Ace saves Terry from a mutant dog, ending the episode on this scene that has no dialogue but is entirely convincing emotions. Ace loves Bruce and Terry, and the feeling is mutual. Pets are a great thing, don't you think? But that, my friends, ends Batman Beyond Season 2. Damn, 26 episodes down. Didn't think I could do it so fast, but that's actually why I started working on this video before I was done with the Season 1 video, to maximize the usage of my spare time. But yeah, folks, Batman Beyond Season 2. A season I was planning on raking over the coals became a really fun endeavor. Now that we're in the conclusion, what's the big thing I think Batman Beyond Season 2 is held back by? Even if it's not a huge deal in the macro perspective, it's the 22-minute formula. That's what it is. This is basically what I was going for in the Superman Season 2 and Justice League Season 1 videos. Even though I think the DCAU has done freaking phenomenal work in the 22-minute formula, and some stories are actually better suited for that, like a Joker's Millions or a Speed Demons, it's a limit when you have to tell grand mysteries like the late Mr. Kent, or tell fascinating human stories like Hooked Up from this season. Because of that 22-minute formula, some stuff just gonna have to be left on the sidelines, and that's disappointing. As for most of this season, I think it was deserved to speed through a lot of its episodes. Not just because there's a lot of them, but because overall, Batman Beyond Season 2 is just the back half of Batman Beyond Season 1 for an entire season. The final cut is just a Batman Beyond episode. There's nothing special or event-like about it. And on that note, this season really doesn't have any events, like a rebirth or a star-crossed. It's just standard episodes, which is why I say this season is better than Superman Season 2. In that case, the standard episode collection became a flaw. Here, it's just how it is. Because this season is still littered with great character moments and interaction, and fantastic action scenes and great music. I feel like at their best, I'd probably rather go back to Beyond Season 1, Batman Season 3, JLU Season 1, and Superman Season 1, but I had a great time with Beyond Season 2. It got a lot of emotions out of me, as I feel like this season made its characters feel like human beings even before Dwayne McDuffie was involved. That's a compliment. Like, I love the main characters of this season. Bruce, Terry, Max, Barbara, the villains, everyone. I love it. This is a great show. For that reason, while it was a hard choice, I think this season is roughly tied with Beyond Season 1 in the A tier. These season rankings are becoming more difficult with each passing one, as I don't really know just how much better the 26 episode collection of Batman Beyond Season 2 is than the 28 episode collection of Batman Volume 1, but I do know this. I love all these seasons because I love the DCAU. With that said, there's only one season review left, that being Batman Beyond Season 3. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time.